Mossotti, 9th District Council Member for Lexington Fayette Urban County Council. Today, the topic for our segment is the EPA consent decree. My guest today is Charlie Martin, who is the Acting Commissioner of LFUCG's Department of Environmental Quality and Public Works. Welcome, Charlie.
Thank you.
Charlie, tell us the history of how all of this came about, the chain of events that led up to it, the federal lawsuit being filed, and the Environmental Protection Agency against the city of Lexington.
You know, it's ironic that it's been about a 10-year process to today. There was an inspection by EPA and the state back in 2004. By 2006, they had enough findings to where they filed a complaint against the city of Lexington for violations of the Clean Water Act. We spent the next 2 years negotiating a consent decree, which is basically an agreed settlement between two parties to solve a lawsuit. And so then in 2008, the council approved the consent decree. The judge didn't sign it for another 3 years. And so now here we are that we've gone through all this process and we're really ready to kick into the capital construction phase of the consent decree implementation.
Let me ask you one question. Is Lexington the only city that's facing a consent decree?
No, we're not. Frankfort has one, Winchester on the larger scale, Cincinnati, Louisville, Nashville, Knoxville. There are a lot of communities that are in the same situation as we are.
So after this agreement was reached, obviously the city needed to implement the consent decree. Tell us about the remedial measures that became the blueprint for fixing Lexington's sanitary sewer system.
Well, before I get into the remedial measures, one of the things that we found during the negotiation is that we didn't have a good understanding of our system. So we had to gather a lot of data to develop a sound plan. So we built a hydraulic model. We spent a lot of time assessing the system. A lot of folks remember us being out smoke testing and doing all these things in the neighborhoods at night. Well, all that was for a purpose, was to put together a plan of what it was going to take to make these overflows go away and the backups that were chronically plaguing certain folks. And we finished that work in 2011 and 2012. We sent those plans to EPA. We're waiting approval for them, but we've already started on some of the fixes already because they're so obvious that they need to be done. We really don't need to wait on EPA's approval. There are 82 capital projects that will be done over the next 11 to 13 years to address these fixes, and it involves projects like we're here today, pipelines, new pump stations, some storage tanks, the whole gamut of things.
So obviously, what you're saying is capital construction is the clear focus or the main focus. And there are some larger projects. I mean, what are the larger projects? I've heard about Wolf Run, I've heard about Blue Sky. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit on that.
Yeah. Well, one big one that you mentioned is Wolf Run. It's out off of Old Frankfort Pike near Alexandria. The existing pump station out there was vintage 1962. One of the worst overflows that we'd have. Every time it rained, it spilled up to 4 million gallons of sewage in a year into the creek. So we have built a new pump station out there, and we also have new pipelines and all that. So it's a significant upgrade to the tune of about $9 million. Completely on the other side of town is the Blue Sky wastewater treatment plant. Its own separate, I guess, environmental problem. It was a treatment plant that was built by private interests back in the late 60s. Yeah, and you remember this from your previous engagement on council, that it was a problem back then.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that we were able to do is solve that in the consent decree by agreeing to buy it and close the plant, convert it into a pump station and pump it back into our system. And it's going on right now. It's on the smaller scale as far as the overall expense, but a huge, meaningful project for the community.
Absolutely. So I guess when it's all said and done, how much is this going to cost? If you could anticipate a price tag for this, all these capital projects and everything that needs to be done to be able to get the consent decree, I guess, fulfilled. What are you thinking about price-wise?
Well, on the capital projects alone, we're in the neighborhood of $594 million.
Wow, it's almost $600 million.
Yeah, it's the biggest public works project ever undertaken by the city of Lexington. It's going to be a major undertaking to do 82 projects over the next 11 to 13 years. You know, it's a visible thing, and a lot of these projects are hard. That's why nobody has done that before. And see, here we are today out here on the golf course. And
right.
It's going to be challenging. There's going to be disruption and dust and dirt and all those kind of things. But as you know, it sorely needs to be done.
Oh, I don't disagree. I can't tell you. I've been in residential basements that have raw sewage coming up, and there's no good explanation for that other than it needs to be remediated and taken care of and be fixed, because it also is a health issue.
Right.
So I'm glad that we're finally addressing this. And as you said, today we're here at Picadome Golf Course, and this project, I guess, is going to last the majority of 2014, from what I understand. And it involves constructing sewer lines. You can see them right behind us. I don't know if you can see them working or not, but through Shaker Drive. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes. Behind us is a pump station that we built on the golf course back in 2002. And so this line kind of extends from that general area over across Shaker Drive, across Harrodsburg Road, and back behind Lafayette High School. So pretty visible for a lot of folks that come into this area.
So when you say it's going to go by Shaker Drive all the way to Lafayette High School, what kind of impact is that going to have on the person who's driving to work every day, school children, just traffic in general?
Yeah, if folks who frequent the Shaker Drive area for medical appointments and whatnot, associated with St. Joe's Hospital, there will be a significant disruption through the course of the summer because the pipeline has to go right down the middle of the street. So we're encouraging folks to, if they do have appointments, that they leave early, to allow for some time for some interim road closures and all that. We can only apologize profusely for the inconvenience, but the best thing folks can do is leave early. All the cars that go in and out of Harrodsburg Road coming in downtown to enjoy whatever we're doing downtown, they're going to see things set up on each side of the road. The road will remain open, but they will be drilling under the road to insert the pipe under there. So there's going to be a lot of folks that see that. And then if you go to Lafayette High School for any type of for school or extracurricular stuff, you'll see folks digging back there in the back field back there. One of the first of many visible projects that we're going to have, but we're trying to not be any more disruptive than necessary.
So I guess the most important thing that we can take from this, not only that it's definitely something that's going to be for the betterment and for the quality of life and health in Lexington, is we need to let people know this is happening. And how do you intend to do that? Let the public know that this is happening in your neighborhood, or on your way to work, or on your way to some, like you said, extracurricular activity.
Right. Well, one thing that we're doing already is that we have access through our website, lexingtonky.gov, that you can go into the remedial measures portion of that website, type in an address, and find out whether or not you have a project that's near your house and find information. It's very dynamic because, of course, obviously over 11 to 13 years, some of those projects are so far in the future,
sure,
they don't have as much detail as this one does.
But there is a database that has resources that people can access to find out whether or not their neighborhood is going to be part of this remediation process,
right,
correct?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's very, very important.
And then the second thing, and this is something I just learned about yesterday, is that Mark York is trying to develop enhanced project signs, not your very vanilla white one with a bunch of words on it and stuff like that. Instead, one that is a little bit more interactive, that you can also use your smartphone and be able to scan the thing that's on there and be able to get information about the project that way.
When do you anticipate that's going to happen?
Hopefully soon, because like I said, I just found out about this yesterday, and I'm not as technologically advanced in social media as some folks are, so I was pretty excited about that, though, because I thought it was a great idea.
That's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, Charlie, is there anything else you'd like to add? I know we've talked about a lot of different things. We've talked about a $600 million project, hopefully that will be done within the next 11, completed anyways, between the next 11 to 13 years. And we talked about informing the public about coming to the website. Anything else that you'd want to add?
Well, as you said, the big focus right now is the remedial measures plan, because when you're talking about spending nearly $600 million, that gets everybody's attention. Another part of the consent decree that is equally important is our performance that goes on during when it's not raining, because the citizens deserve a high level of service every day, any day, not just when it's raining. So although much less expensive, it's equally important, and something that we're also working on at Water Quality, and we appreciate your colleagues and your support in helping us do that.
Well, I think everyone will agree it's a long overdue investment, but it's in an expensive undertaking, but it's definitely for the city's best and basic infrastructure uses. If there's any questions that you would like to talk to me about, you can reach my office at 258-3215. I'm Councilmember Jennifer Mossotti, or reach me at jmossotti@lexingtonky.gov. Charlie Martin's office is always available as well. Charlie, do you have a direct line?
They can reach me right now at 258-3400. That is the commissioner's office. That will take you directly to a live human being, and they'll track me down.
And also, if you would like to receive my monthly email newsletter, you can call my office, and I will try to give you updates as well as what's happening in different areas of town in reference to the consent decree and the remediation measures. Thank you. This concludes the segment of my council comment, and I appreciate your watching. And thank you, Charlie,
Thank you.
for coming out here today and giving us some information on this. Very helpful.
Glad to be here. Thank you.